Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. I'm your host, Elena Fox. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be on this beautiful planet Earth, that you are able to recognize and delete from your life a narcissist if you have one in your life. I've been counseling a friend of mine here in Cuenca for a couple of hours now. So if you guys could send Amelia lots of love. She is my sourdough lady, and she makes incredible bagels and bread. And she didn't get back to me for 4 days, and usually she gets back to me right away, and I'm like, there's something wrong. I'm like, what's going on with you? Did I say something? Did I offend you? I mentioned fairies in our last conversation, so I thought maybe is it that? Is she afraid of duendes? I don't know. But she said, no, I broke up with my boyfriend and I've been feeling low. And then she continued to tell me all of her ascension symptoms, even though she doesn't know anything about the ascension. And I told her what the symptoms were, and she's like, oh my God, I have all of those. So she's sensitive to energy, but she didn't know it. And she just thought it's because she broke up with her boyfriend. Well, the more we talked, the more I realized when she said that he cheated on her, I'm like, I think he's a narcissist. So I started asking her questions, and I realized, and one of you contacted me recently and said that your girlfriend is a manipulator and into drama and always asking you back and coming into your house, unannounced and unasked for, like without your permission, which is awfully creepy since it's an ex, not a current girlfriend, right? So I started thinking about it, and I have done shows on this. Now, if you want to have serious help, like serious information where you can get lost for days writing all the information down, Kim Saeed, Saeed, Kim Saeed, she was in a marriage. She's a psychologist, and she was in a marriage for a very long time to a narcissist. And then when she realized what the hell had been happening, because even it can sneak up on you if you are a psychologist, guys. So if you have a manipulator or someone in your life, or even if you have an ex who was a narcissist and you did not realize it at the time, and you just felt bad about yourself, and you just feel like there's something wrong with you, and you'll try to do better next time, and it took you years to get back into a relationship or even thinking about dating again. It's just one of those things, like, if you don't know what you don't know, you're never gonna learn, and then you might end up, making the same mistake again. So I'm gonna go over a quick list. It's like a down and dirty list I just wrote today about things that narcissists will do to you. And I did take some of these from a video I saw, but then I wrote a bunch of other ones that I remember, from other things. It's all Kim Saeed's information. So I'm not the best source of this, although I am a good resource to start. But I'm telling you, her stuff is 100% the best. So, love bombing. When they first meet you, and if it looks like you're about to break up with them, they will do it again. Love bombing, where they just like a million compliments. I want to be a better woman because of you. I feel like we're soulmates, or we're twin flames. And they're not your twin flame. They're a twin flake at best. At worst, they're a twin lame. They're no twin of nothing. They're not even spiritually advanced enough to even be, now being spiritually unawakened does not have anything to do with advancement. Like, you cannot be a twin flame here to help humanity if you don't know the basic shit of not to manipulate and destroy people's hearts. So if you have a narcissist in your life and you think they're your twin flame, that's not true. They're not your twin flame. People like that they're not your twin flame, period. I'm doing double check. I'm asking God because, sometimes God will prove me wrong and then I have to backtrack. But no, God says that's true. If you're a manipulator and you're fucking with people's hearts and minds and lives, by the way, sorry, but you're not a twin flame. You did not have the go-ahead as a spiritually advanced being to come here at this time during the ascension of humanity to help the world ascend while still manipulating and hurting people. Sorry, you're not spiritually advanced enough yet. You did not get to pass go. You're on your last fucking chance is what this is. And that's just the way it is, especially if you've been a manipulator like throughout lifetimes, But love bombing, you're the best I've ever had, the best sex I've ever had. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. You're the sexiest man I've ever met. You're, these kinds of compliments are nice to hear and not always from a manipulator. Okay. But if they are overwhelming, they bring you flowers, suddenly they're, you're, your song is playing on the radio and they dedicate it to you and you're like, holy crap, and, they send you flowers and candies and singing telegrams at work and a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's okay to get one of these things once in a while, but constantly in the beginning, being overwhelmed to the point where they're really bending over backwards to get you interested, to get you, to keep you, to manipulate you into and then you feel guilty leaving because they spent so much time, effort, and money, So, okay, that's one thing. I don't have time to go over all these, in detail, but they will try to induce guilt in you if you try to leave. They will turn other people against you. They'll talk shit about you behind your back. They will even, muster up tears to say, I'm very worried about, so-and-so because, she has this problem, ever since she's been on the medication for her mind, or they'll make up bullshit that's not even true. And then they'll use their sob story to rope other people in. They'll use their sob story to rope you in. My mom didn't love me. My dad beat my mom. Or, it might be real stuff. Might be true. But they use it. They use the material to get you roped in and manipulated into feeling sorry for them because usually you're an empath if you've ever had to deal with this. So they will convince you that you're wrong about almost everything. No, you're wrong. That's not true. That's not really true. That's not right. Constantly try to convince you that you're wrong. You don't remember the story right. You don't know what happened. You didn't get it right. You don't know what really played out there. Those are the kinds of things that they'll say to you. They will gaslight you and your reality. And to the point of if you try to break up with them, they will say that, you're a really hard person to live with. You're kind of unlovable. And they might say it out loud or they'll say it in other ways. You're unlovable and no one else is ever going to love you. I have told people that no one is going to love you the way that I love you because even though you broke my heart, I will never stop loving you. But I also don't go backwards in life and I will never be in a relationship with you ever again. I have told people that. And I meant it and I still love them. If they were hurt and bleeding in the street, I would save their life, of course. As long as you're alive, you have room to grow and you have the ability to spiritually learn. So, hey, but they will say they'll say something to the point where you're unlovable. No one will ever love you, period. I've never told anyone that they're unlovable, but I have told people no one will love you the way that I loved you. Well, someone else will love you probably more than me, but they're never going to love you in the way that I put, because I'm unique, and that's true. But I've never told anyone that they're absolutely unlovable. Like, that's ridiculous. But a narcissist, well, they don't have any qualms whatsoever. They will absolutely tell you that you're hard to live with. No one's ever going to love you. Look at you. You're fat, you're old, you're ugly, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too smart, you're too dumb. Men don't like smart women. Men don't like dumb women. Oh, your sense of humor, you're funny. Men don't like funny women, or whatever, or vice versa. It could be, women are narcissists too, by the way. It's possible. And you could be any gender, you could be any, you could be, gay, bisexual, straight, it doesn't matter. They're narcissists across the board. It's not just a United States thing. It's like across the world. There are narcissists everywhere. I've met narcissists from Saudi Arabia, from India, from all over the place. So, probably never from Canada. Canadians are really nice. I'm just kidding. I know there's narcissists there too. My girlfriend had a boyfriend there who was a narcissist. So no one will ever want you, so you might as well stay with me. That's something that they would say. Who wants you? Nobody wants you. No one's ever going to want you again. You're never going to have a relationship. And like my ex-boyfriend, who is a narcissist, contacted me last week and told me he wants to marry me. And I'm like, no, you don't. And then he says, and then I just went along with it for a few minutes to see if he would backpedal. And sure enough, he did. It was fun to watch his little dance because I'm never going to get back together with this dick. But he says, well, I do want to marry you and be with you because you are my soulmate, but I have to go to Italy and Spain first and live there for a while. And then, when I'm done with all that, but thank you for being faithful to me all these years. And I'm like, the hell are you talking about? Because I'm single now doesn't mean I've been faithful to my ex-boyfriend. Like, that's insane. And I was like, okay, whatever. And he was like, you were always faithful to me. I'm like, oh, that's funny. The first time we broke up, he actually broke up with me because he accused me of having an affair with a 16-year-old because a drunk 16-year-old fell against me. Like, what? And he made a big to-do, throwing his hands in the air. And this was 2 weeks before Christmas. And I realized that was a secret thing because he was trying to get out of buying a gift for me because he was low on cash. That's something a manipulator or narcissist will do. They'll break up with you the day before Valentine's Day to avoid buying roses. And then when they get back together with you in a month or something, maybe when they have extra money, they might love bomb you with roses and candy. I'm sorry. Take me back. And it's only because they were probably with another man or a woman who ended up dumping their ass and seeing through their tricks. And then now they're back to you trying to get their, supply from you. It's like, oh, it's so funny. Like if someone has ever broken up with you right before a holiday, that's like kind of a red flag. Especially a holiday in which they are socially expected to get you a nice gift. Like a week before your anniversary or a week before Christmas. I mean, oh, when's your birthday? It's on Tuesday, so they'll call you on Sunday or break up with you on Saturday over a text at 3 a.m. It's just, those are red flags. So they will tell you no one wants to be with you because you overreact and you're too dramatic and so like you'll bring up something that they actually did. You can show them proof to their face and they'll say, you're being dramatic. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, they also make false promises to get you back. I know I said I never wanted kids. Well, I want kids now. I know I said I never want to get married. Well, I want to be married now. I know that, you move to another country and you speak another language. So I started learning the language you didn't even know. I told my mother that I was learning Spanish to come and marry you. I had a big proposal prepared and everything. That's what my ex told me. That's exactly what he told me. And I'm like, Dude, when we were together, 3 separate occasions, you came and picked me up in a car I've never seen before. And then when I find out that these are cars of women you've had sex with, and then I find out later that these are cars of women you've had sex with, and we're having sex actively with them while you were with me, oh my effing God. Don't come down here and propose to me, dude. You know? Do not miss me with that bullshit, right? Come on. It's ridiculous. They will never, ever, 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 ever love you because they cannot feel love. They will mimic what they believe love is, what they've seen in the movies, that they've seen other loving couples that actually have love between them. They'll watch other people very closely. They're very good at manipulating because they're good at observing. I mean, they'll make a good security guard. They make a shitty spouse. But they will never care about your needs, not really. And they will take your needs, though, and they will keep a laundry list of what your needs are. And then they will use them against you as a weapon if you ever try to leave them. So, for example, if, say you are very sexually, interested, you want to have sex every single day or several times a week, they will tell you when you try to break up with them that they don't want to be with you anyway because you're too horny and you're too much and you're too, there's something wrong with you. Maybe you're a sex addict, and some people just have a super high libido, but that's something that they will use against you. So if it is your need to be held at night, they'll say you're too clingy, you're too needy. It's like everyone in the fucking world wants to be held at night. That's not an unreasonable request in the confines of a relationship, especially if you live together or if you're married. I asked my cat to hold me. Come here, let me hold you. Let's cuddle, and she does. And when she doesn't want to, she walks away. That's cool, But a narcissist will take something that you need, like, I need to know you're okay. Write me when you get home. I had a thing where my parents never, they didn't come home on time and they didn't call me. And for hours, I was a latchkey kid. For hours, I just sat there. I watched the sun go down and it got darker and darker and I was so scared. And I turned all the lights in the house on and I was just like, what's happening? And nobody came for like 3 or 4 hours. Finally, I get a phone call, and I was told that my grandfather had been shot in Los Angeles when he chased after a robber that stole my grandmother's purse. And my grandfather was a fucking badass. So he took off running, and it wasn't an actual bullet. It was snake shot, thank God. And so he had a bunch of BBs basically stuck in his face. One pierced his ears, through his face. But ever since that happened, and I knew that I could have lost my grandpa. And he wasn't even really my grandpa. He was a guy that was in our church that we hung out with all the time. We went camping with him all the time. I called he and his wife Grandma and Grandpa. And they were just an extra set of old people in my life. And they said, call me Grandma, call me Grandpa. They were foster parents, and they ended up adopting like 10 or 12 kids and raising them and loving them like so much. They were just the most loving, amazing people. So, the fact that I almost lost him, I was like, oh my God, and so for me, every time if I'm with somebody in a relationship, if I don't hear from them for 3 or 4 hours, I start to panic. I really do, because of that. Right? And it's something that I've tried to work through, and it's still like, and I do it with my kids. If they don't come home, if they don't call me, I start to panic a little bit. Now, I don't call them and blow up their phone 40, 50, 60 times. I'll call once and go, hey, I was just worried about you. I want to know if you're okay. Or I'll text, and then I just sit tight and I just pray. And that's how I handle it now. But I mean, when I was younger, I'd be like calling the morgue, calling the police, checking to see if there was any crimes committed. Like, I get really freaked out because, that kind of thing, for me, that was very real. It's a real trauma. So I still have PTSD about that. But if you say, I have a need for you to call me, when you get home, I just want to make sure you're okay. And then if they are supposed to be home around 11 and you call them around 1 in the morning, or you write a text going, I didn't hear from you. Just want to make sure you're okay. Just checking in. Write me when you can. But they will take that and use that against you when you break up. They will say, you texted me too many times in the middle of the night. You're cleany, you're needy. It's like, I told you in the beginning. But they'll say, no, you never told me that. They'll just lie, gaslight you. You can even prove it to them, and they still won't even read the text. I don't need to see that to know the truth. You don't believe me? It's like, I proved it to you, dude. So these are the kinds of things that a manipulator, a narcissist. Now, you might have these people in your life that are not in a romantic relationship with you. It might be your boss, might be your sister's boyfriend. It might be, someone somewhere in your life knows a narcissist or is a narcissist or is in a relationship or dating a narcissist. So that's why we just need to spread the word. Anytime you meet someone and they break up, even if your best friend breaks up with their girlfriend and you're like, hey, what happened? And she's going to say, well, you know what? She cheated on me. That's a red flag. That's probably a narcissist. Probe into it. Because people need serious knowledge. Looking around to see if the cat's going to answer. People need serious knowledge about this stuff. Because it's scary. So, let me see. They will, when you threaten their ego by trying to leave, they will start on the smear campaigns against you. They go after your assets. They will steal money out of your bank account. My husband did that when we first got together to his ex-wife, guys. If I had known then what I know now, my kids would have had a different baby daddy. I would have had a high quality man. And I loved my relationship with him. We got along great. But he was in control of the relationship, absolutely. But there were so many red flags, guys. If I had known, we were together 13 years. I was happy for 11 of them. But they will start the smear campaigns. My ex, when we broke up, he went around telling everybody in town a bunch of crap about me that wasn't true. So I lost all of my immediate support system in the town where we lived. He talked shit to everyone in his family, and his family to this day hate my guts. They believe him. And he's dead. He's been dead for 10 years and they still believe his lies. So, yeah, they will threaten you or they will ignore you. So they'll either threaten you or completely cut you off so you think they're dead and you have to call them, right? They will harm you if they're a violent person. They will threaten violence. My ex-husband told my little 6-year-old boy that, don't worry, you're never going to see your mom again. And he said it in such a menacing way after he stalked me at work and randomly showed up to my work and grabbed, and he was holding on to my son's arm really hard. I think he might have bruised his arm. And my son was like, he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. The way he said that, the way he looked at me, the look in his eye, he's going to kill you, Mom. I'm really scared. So that's what a narcissist will do. They'll make you fear for your life, especially if they're violent and if they're really, really feeling threatened by your leaving. They will blame you for everything. It's all your fault I cheated on you. Really? Because I don't remember whipping your dick out and putting it in another woman. I just don't remember that. It wasn't, it's just, it's like, wow. It's okay, But they will blame you for everything that went wrong in the relationship. It's never their fault. It's always yours. They also do the triangulation. They get a third person involved. They start seeing or dating somebody else, and they will flaunt that person. They'll flaunt that guy in front of you. They'll flaunt that gal in front of you. They will say, oh, look at this new person. We're totally together. We're such a couple. My ex-boyfriend in Peru did this, sent me a picture of him in a group of people with a woman, and he was standing behind her and like 3 other women that she was with, and he had to point out which woman she was, And she had a look on her face like she could give a crap less about him. And he's like, that's my new girlfriend. I'm like, oh, good for you. You know what? You look really suited together. In fact, I think you're going to get married and have lots of babies with her. I wish me luck. Or I wish you luck. I'm glad for you. Good. I'm glad you found your soulmate. That's wonderful. And he was so mad. He was like, whoa, it didn't work, He was so mad. I'm like, you know what? I wish you, Mazel Tov. I'm not even Jewish, but I'm saying it. Mazel Tov. Have fun. There goes your life. Hey, good for you. And then he did the hoovering. They will hoover you. That means they tried it like a vacuum cleaner, the hoover. They will suck you back in. They will try so hard. He was like, my girlfriend broke up with me. Oh, she was so mean. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I need comfort. Can I come get a hug? Can I have talk with you? Can I take you to lunch? No, he did that to me too. I was just like, oh my God. I was ready for all this shit. Triangulation, too, is when they bring in somebody else, and they will tell that other person a bunch of really bad shit about you. And then they will have that person contact you. Like, why do he's with you for your money. He's not with you for your body. You're too fat. You're too thin. You're too ugly. You're too whatever. They will get another person to tell you the truth, so that you can leave him alone. She won't leave me alone. She's really after me. God. That's what my ex used to say to me in Chico. See, I've had a lot of experience with these dicks, okay? Unfortunately, now I don't. I never will again. I know the difference now. If you guys don't know the difference and you want to know the red flags, go back to my boundaries episode. You will never, ever, ever be involved with someone like this again. If you have been. Please go back to my boundaries episode in the first season. Just do a Google search for Metaphysical Soul Speak Boundaries. And it was in February 2 years ago. So, yeah, this is just... let me see. They will like a post on your social media, and then they'll write to you and use that as an excuse. Like, I accidentally liked your post, instead of like, duh, you can just unlike it right away. They'll say, oh, I didn't mean to. I know it's an oopsies, I forgot, or I accidentally liked your post. How are you doing anyway? And then they'll use that as an in to hoover you back into their life. They will devalue you. They will belittle you. They will betray you. They will make you feel sorry for them with their sad, sad sob story. Oh, she broke up with me. So, unless your limb is cut off and bleeding and you're laying in the street almost dead, I don't want to hear about that crap. I really don't care, But they will use this as bait, and they will do this. It's called a crisis technique, according to Kim Said. They will replace you as soon as humanly possible to manipulate you into feeling bad about yourself. Because if they can get you to feel bad about yourself, they can hoover you right back in by love bombing you once again when their fresh new supply runs out and their fresh person breaks up with them, or when they get bored with them. And by the way, not only do they do the triangulation, but they have the back burner people lined up around the fucking block. They've got a list in their head, probably 20, 30 people that they could start dating the second you break up with them, so that they could say, oh, look, I'm over you already. Screw off. Look, I got this sexy woman. Look how she's younger than you. She's thinner than you, He's handsomer than you. Look at his muscles. Look at how great he is. This is what they do. They are always unfaithful. They cheat. They think it's their God-given right. If the sex is there, just take it. It is their God-given right to cheat, and they will brag about it. If you say, tell me about some of your old lovers, they will brag. Oh, she had the biggest this, and he had the biggest that, and oh my God, she was the best of this, and he was the best of that. And it's like probably none of that's even true. Probably sex is terrible with them because they don't give a crap about anyone's needs except their own. Anyway, they will always turn crap back on you. Oh, she was really good at this one thing in bed. Oh, the one thing you won't do, that you refuse to do, the thing that you don't do. Yeah, she was an expert at it. I think about her a lot. They'll just do that crap just to irk you and needle you and get you sucked into feeling bad about yourself, feeling low about yourself. And then they'll say, but I love you and I'm with you now. And you go, oh, love kernels. And you just eat them up, like a hungry, like a little hungry chick, like little pieces of corn on the ground, like a little trail. And you just, and they put you in that position where you just feel so inferior. And then you feel so grateful that they love you. It's really insidious and it's really sick. They will ask you to change. Can you maybe not wear those clothes? Can you change your looks? Can you change your health? Can you change your hair? Now this isn't just like if someone says, hey, I like being in a relationship with you and I really want to have a healthy life with you. I want to grow old with you, baby, but I don't want to grow old. I want to be 65, but I want to look 35. Is it possible? Have you ever considered giving up, smoking? And if not, that's okay. I just, maybe you want to just start wearing the patch instead sometimes. Or maybe we can, you could keep smoking, but, we'll do vitamins. It'll be, here's the cat. I'll do vitamins. Yeah, I know you will. And, so, for me, that would be how I would handle it. Like, okay, I'm not thrilled about the smoking. If you don't do it around me, I'm happy because, asthma and whatnot. But if you, I just want you to be healthy and happy, and if that smoking makes you happy, that's cool. But you know what? Let's take extra vitamin A and vitamin E and get your heart checked, every now and again and make sure you're okay. And maybe if you want to quit, I'll help you. But if you don't, I'm not going to push, and that's normal. That's a healthy way to handle it. I really wish you wouldn't smoke, but if that's where you're at right now, I'm cool. That's healthy. But if you say you have to quit. If you want me to love you, you have to quit. I can never be with a smoker. Oh, it's disgusting. It's filthy. You're a bad person. You've got a bad whatever. Like if you handle it like that, that's bad, right? But that's what narcissists do. You're a good-looking woman. You'll look a lot younger though if your hair was shoulder length instead. If you got this special kind of haircut, I think you'd look better. I think you should do it. Boy, you'd look so cute with that. They manipulate you into getting that haircut. There was a really funny episode of Three's Company where Jack was dating a narcissist woman and the girls hated her. The women they were like, that he lived with, they were like, we can't stand her. Like she would say that jeans are a pedestrian. Nobody wears jeans. And then she would show up and she'd go, oh, hey, girls, love your jeans. And they would just look at each other like, oh, my God, she's so fake and phony. And he couldn't see through her because she was so beautiful. And that was like kind of like the thing, Narcissistic people a lot of times are very good looking. They have a lot of charisma. They will rope you in. They'll suck you in with whatever bullshit lies and their looks, and they use everything against you. So I just wanted to give a quick little primer on this crap because, if you know anyone going through this, please help them, direct them to this episode and also the Boundaries episode in the first season, as well as and especially, Kim Saeed's work because I think she was married for 17 years or something to a narcissist, and she finally let go. And a lot of her stuff, you'll see even the people like leaving comments are like, I've been married for 47 years to a narcissist and I'm finally leaving and I'm 60 years old. You'll see these like things and you're like, oh my God, my heart goes out, So if you've ever been in a relationship, even in your past, even if you're single now, if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody who treated you like this, it's not love, it's manipulation. It feels like love because from your end, you loved them. But from their end, they used and manipulated you. And if you're still standing, baby, you did it. You're a survivor, and that's good. So I just, anyone who's going through something like this, please, by all means, help them and let them know. Because life is too short to be manipulated by horrible people, So I'm looking forward to being with my twin flame, and I know who he is. So I feel like I don't know him personally yet, but I know he's probably had the same issues with narcissists that I have. I have a feeling about it. He's my twin. He's like an empath, like I am, and I just feel like I can't wait to have this conversation with him. Like, what about this? Yeah, that too. Oh my God, like I don't really want to spend time talking about our exes, but just the idea that we went through this stuff, let's acknowledge it and let's realize that thank God it's in our past. I would never do this and you would never do this. So we are, good people. We're going to have a good relationship from now on, and I feel like you all deserve the best. You deserve to be loved the way that you wish to. You deserve to have all of your needs met. You deserve every good thing in this world, and having a really good relationship is worth it. And having a manipulator, liar, and cheater is not worth it, but it is worth it for learning the lesson of it, even though it's hurtful. Like Marilyn Monroe said, your heart might be broken, but your true love will come back and help you fill in the cracks of your broken heart. And your heart will grow bigger too, by the way. You learn to love more. But no amount of love or compassion is going to change these people. You need to get out of it if you're in a relationship like that. So, several of you have contacted me that you've gone through this or you're in this right now. So I wanted to get through it. Some of you are in wonderful relationships and have nothing to do with this thing, but keep this stuff in the back of your mind just in case one of your friends or relatives or someone or your neighbors are going through this. All right. So, it's just so important, oops. All right. I'm trying to find spaceweather.com. So, okay. We're still in the solar wind stream. It's coming at us at 557.6 kilometers per second. It's a solar wind stream and it's plasma. It's reaching us. It's manipulating us. The sun is a narcissist. No, it's not. It does manipulate our DNA. It does affect us. It makes us sleepy. But it does help upgrade us. It gives us a higher consciousness. It's a high vibration. I went out today, and I swear to God, you guys, every single time I go outside and I ask the sun, I greet the sun. I say, hello, grandfather. And I say, I would like some of your light. And I swear the sun gets stronger and brighter and sends me energy every time now. And I say, thank you. But boy, I feel this. I like the solar wind streams. I really do. I love it. For me now, it feels like a nice, warm, lovely blanket. It does make me sleep a little more though. Although I only got 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 hours of sleep last night, and I feel great. I was like, that's weird. My sleep patterns have been off, and that's, because of the full moon as well as this solar wind stream. But right now, there is a brand new sunspot, AR2807, and it is crackling with B-class and C-class flares, solar flares. So when they start popping off and coming our way, that will be a lot more aurora borealises to look at, and that will be a lot more energy to deal with. But right now, we're in the middle of a solar wind stream. We can have flares and a wind stream at the same time. By the way, right now, Mars and the Pleiades are in conjunction in the sky. If you happen to have a clear view, you might want to go outside and check that out. There's some beautiful pink and yellow. I've never seen this before. The pink and yellow aurora borealises were taken, above Aberdeenshire, which I believe is in Scotland. I know it's in the UK somewhere. Graham Whips made a movie and beautiful aurora borealis, but this is crazy. I mean, it's hot pink and yellow. It's very odd. I've never seen these colors together like that. So if you want to check it out, that's on spaceweather.com. There's a picture also of Mars and the Pleiades together in the sky. And I think there was another, they call the Pleiades the Seven Sisters, but it's a cluster of stars from our vantage point. And there's, of course, the planets that are around there, which is where the Pleiadians come from. Our friends that sometimes channel through me. Let's see. The Ulu neutron counts are high today. It's been zero change in the past 48 hours. And as far as the All-Sky Fireball Network and NASA's All-Sky cameras, they did capture 5 fireballs or meteorites meteoritic fireballs. Literally great balls of fire raining down. There's only 5 of them. They were sporadic and they were over the United States. As far as disclosurenews.com is concerned, coming out of Italy, the Schumann Resonance today was only 10. Not a whole lot to write home about. That's 10 hertz frequency. And normally it's 7.83. And that's it. As far as HeartMath Institute is concerned, their data is unavailable at this moment. We will hopefully come back to it tomorrow and see what's happening in the world as far as the Schumann Resonance is concerned. So I had a traumatizing experience today. It's like, as a Virgo, I'm really upset at. My cat was, I was sitting here trying to figure out what to do for the show and talking to my friend who was going through this narcissistic issue. She never heard of this. She didn't know anything about it. That's why I brought it up. A lot of you are brand new to the show and, I wanted to help you guys. So I'm trying to help her and I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for the show. All of a sudden, I hear my cat is making sounds I've never heard her make. And she's hopping up and down like popcorn on a hot skillet. Straight up and down. From the floor up and landed on the table. And then from the table up, landed, on the table again. And then hopped a couple times on the couch. And I'm like, what is happening with you? And, as I turned and said that, she flung this big thing at me, hit me, ironically, on my back where my monkey tattoo is. And then I smelled it. She freaking flung poo at me. A big thing of poo. I'm like, what the actual hell? I think somehow it got caught on her fur. I don't even know what. Because I looked and there was a big bunch of poo in the litter box. And this was like something that I guess stuck to her tail or something. I don't know. I have since washed her tail. I have since washed all of the clothes I was wearing. The chair has been disinfected. The floor has been disinfected. I just took off my clothes, even though my windows are open. I just took off all my clothes and I just threw them out in the washing machine, immediately washed them, ran upstairs, took a shower. I was so freaked out. I am so traumatized. I was so pissed off that my cat was channeling her inner monkey and flinging her poo at me. Oh my God, I was so freaked out. I don't think she meant to do that because she's very sweet normally. Oh my God. I mean, at first I thought it was a mouse. I'm like, what the hell? And I put my hand behind me and this thing was wet and sticky. I'm like, ew. And I was like, ugh, and I threw it on the ground and then I smelled it. I was like, oh, fuck me. What the hell? My cat actually flung shit at me. I'm like, dude, oh my God. So if you think you've had a bad day, unless a cat has flung shit at you today, you've had a better day than me. Just saying, okay? Oh my God. That was so disgusting. Like, seriously, like, I'm afraid to touch anything now. Like, I'm wearing all fresh, clean clothes, and I'm just like, I'm just like barely, like, I'm looking around, like, making sure before I go anywhere or touch anything in my house. I'm looking everywhere, looking on the couch. Like, is there some on the couch? I looked and there was nothing more. It was just that one thing. But, oh my God. Have you guys ever had a cat do this to you? I mean, the last time someone flung poo at me was my son when he was a little itty bitty newborn baby and was an accident. Or maybe it was my daughter even, like 20 years ago. I could have gone my whole life without this happening. I looked at her, I'm like, what the hell is up with Ecuadorian animals? Monkeys and now you. What is honestly, a monkey has never done this to me. And I've had a lot of interactions, at least in Peru, with monkeys. And they were sweet and loving and kind and funny as hell. And they have a lot of love and compassion. They're wonderful animals. And thank God they didn't fling their poo at me when I went to visit them. And I hope to go to the coast here in Ecuador and find some monkeys and hang out with them because they're pretty cool animals. But the only other time shit has ever been thrown at me was when I went batshit crazy in Colombia, literally. I told you guys a few times the story, and if you're brand new to the show, I'm going to repeat it. I was with my kids in Colombia in the jungle, living in a hostel for a couple weeks, a couple blocks from the Amazon River. And I said, hey, let's take a walk downtown. We're in this little itty bitty town. Letitia is the name of the town. And we were down there and I heard this rushing river sound and I went towards it. I'm like, hey guys, do you guys hear that sound? I think there's like a little stream or something. Maybe there's a bridge. We could look at the river before we go to the restaurant. And they said, I don't think there's a river over there, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, I think there is. And they're like, well, we hear something. We don't know what that is. I'm like, yeah, it sounds kind of weird, right? Maybe the sound is somehow bouncing off a building or something. I want to investigate. What is this sound? Well, what the sound was, guys, was a sonar that bats have. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Amazon jungle bats. And they all took off because, we disturbed them. And when they take off, they don't go in a straight line. They go in a frickin' whirlwind pattern. They go swirling about. So they all started, fight or flight. Have you ever heard of that? Since bats don't fight, they flight. And when birds or bats decide to fly, they poo first because, you have to go to the bathroom before you take off. And they go in a swirling pattern. So they shit and then they swirl around and they shit again. And we were running as fast as we could and we were shit on so many times by these bats. We literally went bat shit crazy. And I did not understand what that was until that night. I was so pissed off. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And we got to the restaurant. We were like, people were laughing at us. They thought it was hilarious. Of course it's hilarious. We heard what we thought was a river. I thought it was like a stream or something, like, something flowing into the Amazon River, and it was the sound of their sonar. And they're just making that sound, they just make the sound. And oh my God. That was one of the craziest experiences I had in the Amazon jungle, but, oh my God. But, yeah, so seriously, those are the 3 times this has happened to me, and I can't believe it's happened to me today. My cat flinging poo at me. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? It was like so ironic that she literally hit me on the monkey tattoo. It's like she didn't even know about it. I mean, I was just like, what is the universe trying to tell me now? And for hours, this guy from Nigeria has been telling me about some problems he's having with his practice. He's a voodoo practitioner, and he's trying to do this magic to help this woman, and her enemy got wind of it and started sending him her magic, and now they're just flinging magic back and forth. And maybe that was it. Like, you know, it's just a bunch of poo flinging. And and then he said he had to make a sacrifice, and then he sent me a video of that sacrifice, which completely traumatized me. So I've been traumatized twice today. He sent me a video of the dead rabbit and the blood that he put over the candles in the bowl. It was freaking traumatizing. I was like, oh my God. I could have gone my whole life and never saw that. So the rabbit spirit immediately came to me because I am the angel of death and I am an empath. And the rabbit was like, but I thought he loved me. I don't understand what happened. So I had to explain it to the rabbit. And I had to send healing energy to the spirit of the rabbit and send the rabbit back to heaven. And then I had to contact this guy and say, look, animal sacrifice, this is not good. This is not good. This is a low vibrational type of magic. And he's like, what do you do for your magic? I'm like, I deal with the prime creator of the freaking universe. So we had to have a long talk, and he says, I think your magic is more powerful than mine. What do I do? How do I stop this person from sending the energy my way? Like, well, stop killing animals for one. You know, I know this is your tradition. I know this has been, you know, and I love and respect you, but this is a lower vibrational thing. So you guys, I might have possibly talked a voodoo practitioner out of animal sacrifice today. Hopefully he got the message and he's stopping. He's like, what do I do? I'm like, he's like, how do you deal with your enemies? I'm like, well, the last time I sent Satan after them, but the punisher of evil, because she was doing evil towards me, but God told me to do it. I don't recommend dealing with the devil because most people can't handle that energy, which is pretty intense. But I mean, I had done things over the year, many things over the years. Nothing worked. I had to send the punisher of evil to punish her. Only to the extent that she had sent negative crap my way. And then I had her magic cut off from her ancestors. Because luckily, in my situation, her ancestors were good people. And they did not approve. Now, if you try to work with somebody's ancestors and their ancestors are evil, now you're going to get her and all of her ancestors after you. And that's not good. So you have to ask God first. Can I do this? Well, you know, God gave me these ideas. You know, like, do this, do that. Okay, fine. I mean, God didn't say revenge upon. It was more like, you have to protect yourself energetically because this person is not working from a higher consciousness. That's what pretty much God said to me. I'm like, okay, fine. So how do I do that? And God said, well, work with Lucifer. Lucifer is, you know, Samael, Archangel Samael. And Archangel Samael is incarnate in human form. I did not know this until months after I did this. I sent Samael after her. And he was so happy. He was like, yeah. And then when I actually met him in person, not in person, but like when I met him over the internet, he was like, I do remember being in your kitchen. I do remember doing that with you. I'm like, thank you for helping me. I'm sorry I called upon your energy. Duh. Don't call upon an archangel's energy or a specific archangel if you don't know if they're incarnate or not, by the way. So that's another thing I throw out every now and again. Because a lot of the 7,000 archangels are actually incarnate on the planet right now, which means the greater majority of the ones you've heard about, we're all here already. Archangel Michael is not, Archangel Raphael is not incarnate, is Archangel Gabriel is not, and Archangel Uriel or Ariel, are they incarnate? No, they're not incarnate. But don't call upon them. Ask God to send them to you. It's a very subtle difference, but it's to assume that you know better than God is kind of rude. And, it's, obviously we don't know. I don't even know better than God. No one knows better than God, right? So, if you need an archangel of romance, say, God, please send me an archangel for romance. Don't say the name of that archangel, because that person might be, incarnate and you're trying to pull upon their energy. That'd be as if I asked God to send me a piece of your soul to have me deal with something terrible, in my life. And now you're getting a migraine and you don't know why. You're laying in bed going, that's weird. I'm so tired out of nowhere. I mean, that's what anyone who's ever called upon archangels directly without knowing the reality of what's going on, you put them in that position, they're incarnate. But, God likes to punish somehow, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. Not really likes it, but it's one of those weird things. But those are the weird things I've been dealing with today. A voodoo practitioner who's killing animals and a poo-flinging cat. Tell me you had a bad day compared to mine. Anyway, I just, everything is all for the good. And if nothing else, I could serve as a bad example of what kind of day to have. I don't know. I still feel good though. I mean, I'm laughing and I'm all, hey. Oh, and also, and then dealing with my friend who's going through a horrible breakup from a narcissist. So, I got some of my work done. I did a little bit more work on my computer, fixing my computer just a little bit more. And I'm, preserving more documents. That's all I'm doing at this point. I have like thousands of documents that I have to preserve. 4 years worth of writing and downloading PDFs from programs I purchased and etc. Oh, that's a lot of work, but I'm getting through it. And eventually I'll be able to do my Udemy class, upload all this stuff from my computer. Oops, just knocked my coffee over. No coffee in it. See, could have been worse. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and when I come back, I am going to channel Brother Yeshua for you guys. Some of you call him Jesus, and he's going to be with us tonight. And I'm already connected with him, and he's already prepared. So, there we go. I'm going to go eat something and clean my cat again. I just keep feeling like I'm going to have to bathe her again. I know she's okay, but I mean, it's just that, just in case. I'm just too Virgo for this shit. Literally. All right. I'm going to be right back. For you guys, it'll just be a few seconds. For me, it'll be an hour. All right. Right after this musical interlude. All right, guys. So I am very seriously traumatized about the events of the day, especially the event of the poo flinging. I've gone around the house lighting so many freaking matches. I keep swearing, I keep feeling like I'm smelling it, even though I cleaned really well. The thing that gets me is that I mopped the whole floor today, and it was so neat, and I felt so, clean. It was wonderful, and then that happened. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? That couldn't have happened an hour before I mopped, I didn't mop because of that. I mopped just because it was the day to mop. And then that, oh my God. Seriously, I've lit a couple sticks of incense, in a row, back to back, not really like 2 at once. I'm not excessive like that. I'm just, oh my God, I'm so annoyed by this. And then you guys, after everything, okay, lit a bunch of matches, and I sprayed everything down with alcohol, like COVID style. And, oh, my cat's, she's plotting something. She's hiding behind the couch right now, and I see her tail waggling a specific way. I'm going to have to duck, I swear to God. This better not be happening again, you monkey flinging poo thrower. Okay. Yeah, you better eat your dinner. Now she's eating her little kibble. I've been feeding her good. I've been giving her clean water. I cleaned her litter box today. She's mad at me because she hates the litter that we were using, and I was only using it because we're poor. It's $2 for this massive bag, and I just finished the second bag. Today was like the end of it, and I'm like, this is the end of it. Tomorrow or the next day, I'm gonna clean everything perfect and add the brand new litter that's $5 instead of $2. So it's just, she's rebelling. Or I think the poo flinging instant, I don't think she did it on purpose. I mean, it was skillful, dude. Like, it was 15 feet across the freaking room. Okay, maybe not. Maybe 12 feet. But still, okay, so now she, after that, she went and put a bunch of her cat sand on the outside of her litter box and then peed in the cat sand on the outside of the litter box. I don't know what she's... Is this the teenage years that cats go through at 6 months old? It must be. Or I don't know. Maybe it's just this litter is just driving us both crazy. We hate it. It stinks. It's not good at all. It's zeolite. Don't ever buy zeolite, guys. I thought for sure it was going to work, and I was wrong. I just am not too proud to admit when I've been wrong. I've been bested. Anyway, I mean, these 2 bags lasted us for 2 months too, but still, she's like, no, So she tried to make it up to me a couple times, and I'm just leery. I'm just leery. I'm Dawson. I'm so leery. I'm Dawson. I'm Dawson leery. That's how bad this is. And I'm just like, no. And here she comes. Because I said that. She's looking away, trying to ignore me. She's like walking around. But I know she's trying to make it up to me. She's going to sleep next to me on the little bandana I put for her for a pillow. Because I'm trying to make it up to her a little bit. But, because of the litter. But do you guys ever have fights with your animals? I feel like we're in a long, prolonged fight. It's like enduring. No more peeing on the outside of the litter box, okay, Knowledge? She won't even look at me right now. Normally, she stares into my eyes. Right now, she's just like, acts like she can't see me or hear me. I put the bandana and she won't even look at me. And earlier when I put the bandana there, she bit my finger. So the familiar report is that we're way too familiar with each other this day. So, all right. Anyway, let's get into the second half of the show. All right, so I'm going to channel Brother Yeshua for you guys. Jesus, if you will. Jesus. My friend, his boyfriend, his name is Jesus, and he calls him Jesus. Which is kind of funny, because he's like, my name is Jesus. And he's like, nope, you're Jesus. I'm not. He's like, I don't speak Spanish. So he's like, yeah. So he just likes saying his boyfriend's name is Jesus. I think that shocked his uncle, who was a Bible thumping Baptist minister. I think it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek funny he gets to say to shock his family a little bit. But anyway, his uncle was a good guy. God rest his soul. Anyway, so this is the thing. I am not a direct channeler. Now, a direct channeler will step aside, step away from their body, and allow a spirit to take over their vocal cords and their physical body. And when it's all over, the person comes back and they don't know what was said. They have no recollection or no memory of what was happening to their body during that hour or whatever. I don't do that. I do like a few channelers that do that. Daniel Scranton and Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon. Daniel Scranton, he channels the Arcturians. The same exact Arcturians that I channel, by the way, but I use telepathy. And so that makes me an indirect channel. So I basically just mind talk. That's it. I also use my gift of empathy, where I can empath, I can feel what the person or the group of people, what energy they're giving me emotionally, or if they don't have an emotional field. Some, like the Arcturians, are only emotional in the way that they're positive and filled with love. They don't really have the bigger range of emotions that we have. And they marvel at that. They think that's amazing because they don't have it. They just don't. They weren't made that way. They don't need it. They don't have the polarity or the duality that we have. So to them, we are quite interesting. And to us, they're quite interesting. You know, we have just different kinds of existences. And it's cool that we could have a conversation, you know, through telepathy. And so this is what I do. And this is how I speak with Brother Yeshua, somebody who I have been not necessarily telepathically channeling, but I have been telepathing with Jesus or Yeshua since I was about, I would have to say 7 or 8 years old. I think 8. I used to walk to school in the morning very, very early, like 6 o'clock in the morning. It would take me up to 2 hours to walk to school because it was quite far. It was a couple miles in the snow, uphill both ways. I'm just kidding. It was in Southern California, and the worst we ever got was pretty decent flooding, and we had flash floods a few times during my days in which I was walking. But my stepmom sometimes would drop me off at the donut shop and give me extra money, and I'd have an hour to sit and drink coffee and eat donuts, sorry. She would say, "You have to have your milk." And I'd go, "Okay." And then as soon as she left, I would order a coffee. I've always been a coffee hound. But probably shouldn't say the word hound around this monkey that I live with. I don't want her to bite me again. She'll eat my face off in my sleep. Anyway, literally, I got very upset that I said that word. I thought, whoa, what if she gets a little annoyed by that? Although she really does love the wolves. She loves to watch them. She will sit for hours looking out the window at them. But anyway, so where was I? So I used to walk. So I'd walk to school, and on my way to school, sometimes I get a little scared. You know, I was a little girl. I was very little for my age. I'm little for my age even now. Okay, just to be honest, I wish I was more than 5 feet and stocking feet, right? 5 feet tall. I'm not very tall, but sometimes I just get scared. I'd feel vulnerable, you know, when you're 8 years old. That's really freaking little to walk miles. I mean, it was like 20 or 24 blocks. Like, it was miles. It was a lot. And we're talking city blocks. And it was substantial, to be 8 years old in that situation. Like, I could have been kidnapped. I mean, anything could have happened. And so sometimes I get scared. And, well, since I was always walking to Lutheran school, after I complained to the Catholic school that they don't know the real Jesus, not the way I know him, and I was in that life when he was Jesus. I was, there. I mean, when he was Yeshua, I was in that life. I was his little cousin. And we were like brother and sister, though, and he used to call me little sister. And he still does. And he's been calling me that his whole life. And even my cousin in that life was my friend Grandma Marion in this life. And if you have not listened to the Grandma Marion episodes in season 1, it was like 2 months, maybe like 8 weeks in a row on Saturdays. I was doing my Grandma Marion series. It's well worth your time. I love her so, so much. But she remembered being in that life with me, with Jesus. And that whole story is in my Grandma Marion or Reverend Marion Jones episodes. But anyway, he would come and talk to me. And I would feel his robes touching my legs. I had to wear, dresses. I don't know why. It's my clothes my parents bought me. And I would have like bare legs, and I'd be like kind of cold. And I'd tell him I'm cold, and he would put his arm around my shoulder, and I'd feel his robes against my legs, and it would keep me warm. And this is something that I experienced quite often. And so almost my whole life, like 40 years plus, I have been having conversations with Brother Yeshua. And so tonight is no different. He says we have about a 35-minute message. And so I'm already connected with him, and he's already always in my life. He's a part of my spiritual healing team. Also, my first season, I did an episode on how to have your very own spiritual healing team. If you want to go back and listen to that episode also, by the way. Wow, I'm really plugging season 1. But so, I mean, it's like a lot of good information. I'm putting all this out there. I started off doing this so that one day my grandkids would hear it in the event of my untimely early demise, just in case, being a worrywart Virgo. I always think about stuff like this. Plus, I'm the angel of death. I mean, have to be prepared for that inevitable crap, right? So, all right. So this is what's going on. We're already connected. I'm going to telepath. I will use muscle testing, kinesiology, if I feel like I did not hear a word right, or if I didn't get a concept right, or I just feel the need to question something. I use muscle testing to double check, and I will feel his emotions. I close my eyes so I could feel his emotions more when he's speaking, so I could get a better, richer, deeper quality gist. Also, if he's giving me any downloads, light codes, upgrades for your DNA, if you accept these things, just say, yes, I do. And if he's giving the codes through me, it will come through my voice and you will get it immediately. A lot of people have reported listening to my show, even just my normal everyday talking about, normal stuff. I still have light codes in my voice, and sometimes you will automatically be upgraded just hearing the show, which I find very, very exciting because I'm always 100% connected with Prime Creator, and half the time, half the things I say come directly from him. And so you guys are always getting the good stuff no matter what. Even if I'm laughing and joking and swearing, sometimes those light codes are still there in my voice, which is neat. Because I work with my Creator, and I and my Creator are one, and that's something Yeshua always said. I'm hoping he will talk about that today. He says we'll try to cover that. And I asked him earlier to expound upon how we embody and embrace the Christ consciousness within. What does it look like? What does it feel like when it's starting to expand it seems like there's something we're missing. And I know I'm intellectualizing this, and I've been harping on this for a couple weeks, but Paramahansa Yogananda gave us some great information, as well as the Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East book recently. But the one person who knows this more than anyone else is Brother Yeshua. So I think we should hear it from the true Christ himself, and he's going to teach us how also to embody the Christ consciousness. So here we go. All right, am I connected with you, Brother Yeshua? He says, yes, you are. All right, go ahead and begin transmission now. Peace be upon you, my brothers and my sisters. We are indeed family. We are indeed one. We are a part of a greater universe, a greater divine construct that is seemingly impossible to comprehend. And yet, regardless of how you perceive or misperceive or fail to perceive this reality, the reality remains. The existence of God is real, and if you need proof, look in your mirror. The reality of God is in every cell in your body, in every strand of hair, in every rod or cone in your eyes. The act of seeing is a miracle. God exists in every molecule and in every atom. The Christ consciousness is within you. It's not just in the place behind your heart and in front of your spine, as you have been discussing for weeks now. It is in each individual cell, in your very DNA. It's in your RNA. Are you saying Golgi bodies? He's saying it's in our Golgi bodies, which is in every cell. It's in you because that's what you are. You are created from the divine, literally from the divine. Not just created by the divine, but literally created from the substance of the divine. There is no substance on this earth that is not divine. Even though some substances feel less than divine in your perception of them, everything is completely to and from and through, containing, and is 100% the divine. Everything is holy. So, when you try to tap into this center, this energy, this Christ consciousness, it is indeed a consciousness. And while most people do not embody it or embrace it or even accept it as a potential reality for themselves, they usually tend to see it as something outside of themselves, something to be in awe of, like the cavemen used to look at the sun. They were in awe of this great ball of fire in the sky that warmed their faces and tanned their skin and gave them good light for hunting. But they were just in awe of it. And in time, people worshipped the sun. And that's what's happened here, is they saw me as a great light to be in awe of, and then they worshipped the sun. S-O-N, not S-U-N in this case. But the wrongness of that is not to be missed. And yet, millions of people miss it every day. They have not come too far, spiritually speaking, from that of the cavemen. The cavemen were equally as loved by God as are you awakened ones, you awakening ones. And the Christians of today who worship me rather than listen and heed to the words that I so bravely strove to impart 2,000 years ago, and yet fell upon deaf ears. They are still equally as loved by the divine. So that is not to say that there isn't room for improvement. Of course, there is, and the awakened and the awakening are happening among the flocks of people, the throngs and the throes of people in every religion and in the groups that behold a lack of religion. In fact, it's not necessary to have a spiritual experience or any kind of awakening. There isn't a specific order in which you're to experience religion or spirituality. It's all individual. And I, for one, am not in a mind of being of concern if you are a Christian or if you are not. It literally is none of my business. This is between you and your Creator, which path you have chosen to take. Many of you like the scenic route. And many of you enjoy the train that will get you from point A to point B the fastest. So the question that we have been tossing about and potentially giving you a path that is faster to the divine light is that of the Christ consciousness. And what I want to talk to you about tonight is how to expand and expound upon the Christ consciousness within. How did I do it? Did I pray my Jewish prayers and stumble upon a miracle or a mystery and then boom, I'm the Christ? No. It was planned for millennia that I was to be a walking, living, breathing embodiment of the Christ consciousness. This is something that is carefully planned. It's not a dubious accident. I worked on myself much in the way that you work on yourselves on a day-to-day basis. You live through doubts and insecurities, and you go through and you sift through and you pick out the stones or the seeds of doubt and of insecurity and of feeling worthless, valueless. All the times you took in abuse from other people who were of less mind and less consciousness than you, and especially the times that you believed them in their lies about you, when you allowed other people to tell you a story, and when you believed the contents of the story to be true, and when it was about you and it went to the core of your being, now you had something that you had to unravel. Well, I had it no different. In the life in which I became the Christ, my life was quite easily and clearly a path to divine. But what many people don't know, I almost said don't remember, but how could they remember? Because they weren't there in all my other past lives. I wasn't the one and only golden child, son of God, sent down on the rays of the sun and gently lifted to the ground on the wings of millions of doves, or whatever weird imagery people have come up with about me. I was just like you. I started off incarnating over and over again, repeating it and gaining a little bit more right every time, becoming better and better until I had achieved perfection. And then in my final life, I was to hold the office of the Christ. So I know for a fact it's not impossible for each one of you listening tonight or today, whenever you hear this. It's not impossible for you also to achieve Christ consciousness, exactly the same as me. And it's not impossible for you to reach out and have conversations with me. It's not impossible for me to sit in the room with you as you meditate and meditate with you to increase the strength and the power of your own meditations. I will sit with you in prayer when you ask me to. Though we might be vibrating at different rates and you may not actually physically see me, you might feel me there physically. You might somehow know in your heart of hearts that you feel me because my energy too is present with you. My heart beats to serve God by serving humanity. I am here for humankind. And when I say humankind, I mean kind. That is the secret. The first secret is to have kindness and compassion, to becoming a living, breathing embodiment of the consciousness of the Christ energy. Being nice to everybody, loving everybody, stopping your judgment of everybody, pretty much everything I've been saying for 2,000 years as Yeshua. I am here as a teacher and a mentor and a big brother for you guys, for all of you. And my heart beats still on this earth. I live still on this earth. I heard years ago they found my tomb with my name on it. And yea, it was empty. Because I haven't had a need for it. I haven't had a need to use it yet. I renew my body over and over and over again in each moment through the Christ consciousness. When you vibrate your body and your mind and your life, you improve every part of your life to the extent at which it's vibrating at a very high rate. The secrets will start to come to you as insights, and it will feel like a eureka moment, as they say. You'll be sitting in your quiet hours, maybe meditating, maybe looking at nature, maybe just enjoying the breeze on your face or watching an insect walk upon a blade of grass. It could be as simple as that. When all of a sudden, like a flash of light, you will have the insight of the next steps. It will come very quickly, and when you know it, you know. You know it. And what do I mean by these flashes of light? Many of you have thought about the possibility and potentiality of creating something in your hands to appear out of the clear blue ether. And many of you wonder and marvel that this ever happened before at all, ever. Are these stories real? You still don't believe them. Some of you, or a greater majority of you, don't believe that you will ever have the power or the capacity for this to happen to you. You think this happened to the special people. And they're special, and that's why we hear stories about them. But that's not you, and you don't identify as being a part of them. You identify as being separate from them, and so you enjoy hearing the stories, and it's like hearing a mythological story or like a children's book, and it's marvelous and inspirational, but not to the extent at which you realize you can do this. You can do all of this and more. Said I once upon a time, and say I now, in this space and in this time. Your abilities will only be as big and as strong as your belief in who you are. And you might need to adjust and tweak a little bit your perception of who and what you are. I am not the one true golden child, only Son of God, where you are a puny human born to work and slave and toil for a boss and a corporation, and then on Sundays, one day a week, worship me half of the year as the baby Jesus and half of the year as a grown adult man hanging dead on a cross. If you separate yourself so much from me that is your life, or something similar, where you spend an hour contemplating my life and feeling so bad that your life is not the same, that you are so far removed from that, you are less than perfect, you will never achieve these things that I told you 2,000 years ago that you can do. You have to believe. You have to know and understand on the most basic of levels that you are divine. You, my friend, are royalty in the most divine sense. You are powerful. You are marvelous in the way that you can create marvels in this world. You are wonderful in the way that you can create wonders and wondrous feats and acts in this world. You have the Christ inside you, inside your cells, in your spirit light body, in your mental body, in your spiritual body, your physical body, your emotional body, all of your bodies. Your spirit body and your spirit light body being the same as your astral body, by the way. You have to understand and know and call it forth. Awaken the sleeping giant within you. Not just the energy called the Kundalini energy that rises and rises through your spine until it reaches the top of your head and goes out. And that is the first step. Don't force it. It will happen when it's time. In the meantime, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Work on your life. Work on fixing your thought patterns and behavior patterns that no longer serve the divine, perfect you that you are. You might start by asking yourself, if I'm a divine and perfect being, would I be harming my body with this cigarette right now? You could still smoke your cigarette, but you have to contemplate. If I'm a divine and perfect being, am I going to accept the joy and the pleasure of smoking this tobacco right now and engaging in a divine dance with the sacred plant that is called tobacco? Or am I going to accept the illusory reality that everybody has come to know and accept, that this will harm my body? The tar and the nicotine and the addiction elements, the cancer and the disease elements. I have to make a decision right now. If I am a divine and perfect being, which side of the coin am I going to be on? Which side of the factors, on which side am I going to choose to listen to? What story do I want to hear? If I am a divine and perfect being, and I'm working on creating a perfect reality for myself, is being in a dead-end job where I'm belittled, berated, and underappreciated, is that what I need to choose for myself? And if so, why? Is it because my presence among these other people are somehow boosting the morale? Am I somehow awakening their own sleeping giants within by silently provoking the very basicness of the divine love that permeates all things? Am I awakening that to the level at which I am helping people to arise from their slumber and spiritually awaken? Perhaps that's why you're at where you're at. If I'm a divine and perfect being, would I be sleeping in a cave and living in a cave and not talking to another person? Most likely not. Even though that's a stereotype among the enlightened set. Am I a perfect and enlightened being, awakening and arising from my slumber? And am I going to no longer choose certain things in my path? Maybe I didn't want a green living room and I need to change the color. Maybe I want to have more children. Maybe I wish to be married. Maybe this marriage is not working out, or maybe I don't like being single. As a divine and perfect being, now learning to listen to the song of my soul, as a divine and perfect being, bringing the energy of God's light through me, as a channel of the one will, and as a cosmic dancer dancing to the rhythm of all life. Have I chosen the right parts of life to experience? Was I pushed along? Did I take other suggestions from other people? And if so, were they divinely inspired suggestions or fear-based inspired suggestions? And how has that affected my life? There are no right or wrong answers. There are only the right answers for you. Some people choose to go through a long, dragged-out dying process in order to uplift and bring cheer and love and take away the sting and the fear of death in 20 or 30 or 40 people around them. So that by the time they die, there are 40 people that are no longer afraid of death. And some people choose to stay unawakened and unconscious, and they choose a long, dragged-out, painful death so that they know never to mistreat their physical body again in the future. And some people choose something like that so that they can pay off a string of karmic debts because it's their last life. You cannot look at a book without opening the pages and judge it by a cover. And the same is with people and their lives. And the same is with you and your life. You have to really contemplate the deeper questions. You have to really understand why you're in the situation you're in. And you have to ask the question, did I choose this for myself? As a divine and perfect being, have I chosen everything I needed to choose to be on the proper and appropriate path towards my grandest and greatest awakening, in which I can inspire the most amount of people? And if so, was that my purpose all along? You might be creating artful displays in a little dime store in a tiny town, and that might inspire some of the greatest minds that grow up to change the world. You might be a famous artist in New York City, and all the world knows who you are. And so when you befall a specific tragedy, the whole world also gets to watch that and how you handle it. Do you handle it good, or do you handle it in a bad way? And no matter how you handle something, everybody learns from it. So when you are a famous person, people learn from you. People learn from your choices. And even if you are a quiet janitor or a street sweeper or someone who collects trash for a living or a maid who cleans up after everybody else's filth, you still have an important role to play, and you are no less important than the kings and queens and the presidents and the famous artists and the thespians and the theater people on Broadway and the actors and actresses. You are no less important. You're no more important than them, but you're no less important. You are all equal. And I can say this beyond a shadow of a doubt because God permeates you just as much as God permeates me. The difference, however, between the two of us is that I accepted that about myself 2,000 years ago. When are you going to choose for yourself the acceptance, 100% unabashedly accepting that you are divine, the perfect energy, the divine love, the pure joy, the bliss of God Himself? is who you truly are. You can sit in passive acceptance for many hours a day, and this could be your meditation practice. You can also actively pursue to increase and grow the energy of that by imagining the light inside of you growing and growing and growing so big that it extends out past your body. You can even imagine that you're floating around in the space of that divine true light. And imagine it penetrates every cell to the point where it erases all of your doubts, all of your fears, all of your anxiety, all of your worries and woes, all of your sorrows, all of your bad memories. And every bad thing that's ever happened to you, every bad thing you've ever created, every bad act you ever performed throughout all of time. Just sit in the bubble of this beautiful energy as it washes away everything that is not real. This is another meditation. That is the more active one. You may pull in the light of the sun. You may use the energy of water if you stood in the ocean and allowed the water to wash away all of that which is not real. Stood under a shower. You could even spray mist on your face with a perfumed scent or perfume itself. You may use any metaphor, anything physical or any visualization, as long as you are always constantly erasing the illusory from the reality. The illusory being everything that is not perfect, divine love. You are loved beyond measure. I love you beyond measure. I am always in this world. I am always alive until this world passes away. I stand side by side with other great leaders that you have never heard about and the great leaders that you know quite a bit about. You heard the story of Buddha and myself in the governor's mansion. We pay attention when you read our stories. And we pay attention to how many of you are listening to the story but not quite believing, and how many of you are taking it in and realizing more about yourself by way of our example and through Baird T. Spalding's field notes. We are always sending love and light and the information that we have, the knowledge that we have, it's always surrounding you. Expand that bubble of information. It's a bubble that is love, divine, perfect love, but it's also light, and the light contains the information. What if the Christ consciousness within you was a glowing sun centered just behind your heart, filled with love and connected to your spine, and every time you breathed in more consciousness and more light, and every time you breathed out, you were breathing out ignorance and negativity, and every time you breathed in, you awakened more, and every time you breathed out, you let go more of your sleeping patterns. Not physical sleep for your physical body, but you're sleeping your spiritual sleep? What if every moment of every day, in every way, you can expand greater and greater and greater? Eventually, what happens is the packet of instructions that lies within becomes known to you. It's like a little booklet, and you can open it and read the pages and have a greater and deeper understanding. And all of this is inside of you. This is not simply a metaphor, because many of the masters have discussed among themselves, and I have heard these discussions. Sometimes I have participated in these discussions with people who say, it was just as if one day I woke up and I had the instructions before me, laid out, and I could see everything. The geometric patterns, the energy, the cycles and patterns of how the universe works. The matrix, if you will, the cube of space with all of its infinite wisdom and knowledge. And it was as if one day I woke up and I read the book of the universe that was always locked within me. And now I have the power to walk free and completely sovereign forever. It is my most fondest wish, my hope and dream and desire for you, each of you, to experience becoming an embodiment of the walking, living, loving Christ. That consciousness will free every part of your life, every part of your experience, and every day will become a living joy. And just by your presence and being near, you will change everybody that comes within 100 feet from you, in every direction. And you don't ever have to say a word. Miracles will begin to surround you, because that's just what happens. Legends start around you, but if everybody started to have these miracles happen, safety in numbers, as they say, no one will hunt you down. Don't worry about becoming a sacrificial lamb unto the world. That was my path, it's not yours. Many of you have a subconscious fear that if you embody the Christ light and the Christ consciousness completely, then you will be hunted down by the locals and killed in some horrible way. And so therefore you feel like you're separate from the Christ, and you don't want to be a part of something because of what happened to me. So I'm here to tell you tonight, or today, whenever you're listening to this, that it is not your path for any of that to happen. It is only made clear for you. The path has been made clear for you, that you may become an enlightened being, and you may embody the Christ consciousness light in a way that probably most people won't notice these days. Most people are buried in their electronic devices, so much so that they don't hardly notice the miracles all around them. Why, I bet you can go to New York City and sit on a subway and literally create a Subway sandwich in your hand in a matter of seconds, and probably nobody will notice. And those that do will think it's magic. And they're not going to ever think for a second you're an ascended master. This is your food for thought. No pun intended, food. for thought. Literally, you think and then the food appears. But that instruction manual is within you. Do not be afraid of that which you are. Do not shrink away from your greatness, as they say, because your greatness is locked within, and I am the key. Allow me to open your lock for you through this and other means. When, and he's like showing me books that we've been reading, and through other people. And also, if you want to ask him directly, he's telling me, sure, by all means, ask me to come and be with you and help you unlock the lock. Just say, help me, please. Yeshua, help me. I need help with this. I want to unlock myself. I want the Christ light. He says, and trust me, your life will become so much easier, and you will bring a great deal of ease of suffering, ease of pain to everyone around you and with whom you come in contact with. With whom you come in contact. I am as a big brother unto you. I shall always be here and remain so forever. Ask me anything at any time. I am only as approachable as your ability to say, Brother Yeshua, come to me now, and I will be at your side. I have the Christ consciousness. I'm able to bilocate and be with many of you at once. Never feel guilty or sad about calling upon me, because you're more than worthy. You are divine. You are my sisters. You are my brothers. And I'm wishing for each and every one of you to awaken in such a way that you can accept all of the gifts that your God has laid out before you. Reach out and pluck them now. I am your brother. I am your faithful and humble servant. I am the Christ consciousness embodied as your shining example of what you can be. So come, please, and be this with me. With the God in me, I bow before the God in you. I bless you, and I bless you, and I bless you. Forever and ever. Amen. End transmission. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Woo, that was a good one. I hope you got a lot out of it. Eventually, I'm going to put all of these channelings in a book or a series of books, and I'll sell them on Amazon for not very much money, so you can have the transcripts of these shows in book format. So that's it. I love you guys. I love each and every one of you so, so much. Thank you for tuning in and telling everybody you know about the show. I really appreciate that. Write me at mermaidgirl888 for anything, questions, comments, ideas for upcoming shows, anything, clarification, question you want to ask God, whatever you want. But that's it. I'll be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. And for now, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Till next time, guys. Peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.